So just stand up for a moment, have a stretch, and see what your body needs you to do before we sit down and go into our next meditation. So while you're having a stretch, I'm going to say a little bit about this next meditation. And really, we're going to bring our focus now to nature. So like we said, it's the spring equinox. So when we think about spring, we think about growth. We think about new life. When you think about the lambs and all the animals that will be giving birth around this time, I'm sure a lot of you have seen birds building nests as well, and birds singing in the morning as the sun's coming up earlier. So this expansiveness is beginning with the start of spring. Now, I'm very lucky. I live near a woods, and I go for walks every day in the woods, and I try and go for a mindful walk. So that means bringing my presence and awareness into the fact that I am walking in the woods. So rather than being preoccupied with worries and thoughts about the past or the future, I really try and bring myself into the present moment. So that's opening up to the sounds in the woods, which is generally the birds or dogs barking, wind in the trees, also feeling the fresh air, cold air on my face, on my hands, feeling the ground beneath my feet, crunching in the leaves in the autumn, and just bringing myself into the present moment. And walks in nature can be very grounding. So I know that we are a bit more restricted with movement at the moment, but if you do get the opportunity to go out and connect with nature at this time, I think it can be very, very healing. And one of the things I do, so don't laugh, but one of the things that I do on my walk through the woods, there is a tree that I will normally stop at. I'm not a tree hugger, not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but I would feel too embarrassed to hug the tree that I stop at on my walks. But what I do, I put my hand on the tree, and I close my eyes, and I imagine roots growing through my feet into the ground. So I'm kind of grounding myself, and I just imagine this tree energy grounding me. So I do a grounding, and then what I do is I send compassion to the tree and to all trees. In particular, when we had the fires in Australia, for example, I really could connect with compassion for nature when you think about the rainforests as well. So I take grounding energy from the tree and I give back compassion to the tree, which is really compassion, loving kindness for nature, for Mother Earth. So I'm very connected to nature. I think it has a very grounding and calming effect, and especially in this stressful and worrying time, I think connecting with nature, if it's possible, is a really kind of grounding and calming thing to do. So we are now going to do a spring meditation, where we will be embodying a tree, basically, and I will guide you through this. So I think you're all probably feeling a bit curious now. It's nothing strange, it's just about grounding. So spring is about detoxification, grounding, new growth, new beginnings, new life. So really channeling this spring energy is essentially what we're going to be doing. So again, I'm going to invite you, if you've stretched enough, to get back into a comfortable seated posture. So again, if you're in the chair, keeping your both feet flat on the ground. If you're seated cross-legged on the floor, you may want to support your back, but if you're okay with that support, that's fine too. Just get comfortable and grounded. We have our upright spine, but we're also relaxed in our posture. And we have our chin slightly tucked in. And again, when you're ready, you can just close your eyes or lower the gaze to the floor and soften the gaze. So we're going to just take a few long, deep breaths. So on the inhale, breathing into the belly. And a nice long exhale. Letting your breath become deep, even. And on the exhale, letting go. Now I want you to just imagine that your body is a deciduous tree. So it's at the end of winter. Your legs and your body, your torso, is the strong, sturdy trunk of the tree. And you can imagine your arms outstretched as the bare branches. And as you continue to breathe deeply and gently, feel that your limbs are bare and that your roots through your feet into the ground go deep. Now as you breathe in deeply, as you exhale, follow your breath down to your roots as they go deep, deep into the earth. With each exhale, feeling the roots go deeper and deeper into the earth. And now as you exhale, I want you to exhale, keeping breathing deeply, and as you exhale, exhale with a deep sigh. And again. And as you breathe out and exhale, letting go of any tension, any worry. And as you inhale, breathe in nourishments from your roots. And exhale deeply into the roots. So breathing in nourishment from your roots through the trunk, filling the whole body, the whole tree. And as you exhale, letting go of any tension, any worry. And if you wish, exhaling again with a deep sigh. So continue breathing deeply Inhaling the nourishment from Mother Earth, exhaling any worry, any stress, any tension. Now I invite you to return to your normal breath. With each inhale, deep from the roots, bringing nourishment from Mother Earth up your roots, through your trunk, inhaling. Let it fill you. And as this nourishment, this healing fills you, feel the energy rising through your body until it pulses through your limbs. And as you absorb this energy, this nourishment, this healing from your roots, through your trunk and out to your limbs, start to feel the sprouts of the first leaves, the blossoms of flowers, as they grow, as they emerge from your branches. The flowers blossom, and now feel that your limbs, your branches are growing. They're reaching out. And imagine your branches reaching out to one another, to the people within your house, to the people within your street. And as your limbs, your branches reach out, they touch and intertwine with your housemates, with your neighbours. Forming a circle of life. Our breaths intertwine. Our lives intertwine. We are woven by Mother Earth. We are energized by Mother Earth. We blossom and we bloom together. Now take another few gentle breaths and recognize that the tree's limbs, the tree's branches are once again your limbs, your arms. The tree's trunk, your body. But as you come back to this time and place, you keep the knowledge of how to reach nourishment and healing from your roots, from Mother Earth. And you keep the feeling of our interwoven branches, our interwoven being, our interwoven lives. Now we'll just take a couple of deep inhales and exhales. In a moment I'll ring the bell, and when the sound stops, we'll open our eyes. Okay, everybody. So I'd be interested to hear any thoughts or feedback on that meditation. It's a visualization which can be hard or challenging for people who aren't used to that type of meditation, but all feedback is welcome. Yeah, like I said, nature has this grounding property. Renee, thank you again. You're welcome. Yeah, that's why it's such a powerful, again, whether you go and just put your hand on a tree and imagine the roots, or every morning when you get up, imagine roots growing from the feet. I'll just read a couple of comments. For me, the most difficult is breathing deeply because I have short breath. Okay, Raquel, thank you for sharing that. So what I would say on that is just go with what is possible for you physically. So if you can't breathe that deeply, don't worry, you can still do the meditation, but just go with your own breath. So again, self-compassion and kindness. So that's one piece of advice I would give. If you do that meditation, again, just go with your breath. Don't worry about how deep you can breathe there. And Hannah, lovely to reconnect with nature. It's so easy to lose track of it at this time. Yeah, absolutely, Hannah. So yeah, if you can, getting out there if it's possible, try and take advantage of that. And Raquel, the visualization I like very much because I'm a creative person. Great. So you probably had a magnificent tree visualization going on there, Raquel. So that's good to hear. So again, and yeah, nice smile. I love the instant message. I know we can't see everybody, but I hope with the instant message everybody gets a sense of connection and others being on here. So again, just kind of bringing things to a close. We will do one more short meditation before we end. Yes, lovely to remember that spring's coming. Thanks, Hannah. It absolutely is as well. Let's keep this in mind. New beginnings are coming, even in this challenging time. So connecting with nature, getting out of our minds, and that's one thing, actually, one tip that I wanted to give is, and Jerry, thank you. It was a very good meditation. You're welcome, Jerry. Thanks for the feedback. So one piece of advice I wanted to give. So through mindfulness meditation, what we learn is that our thoughts can be a source of stress and discomfort for ourselves. And at the moment, with social media, with the news, obviously it is all-encompassing, the information that we're receiving about the virus at the moment. So what I would say is really try and manage this. Of course, we want to stay connected with the news. Of course, we want important to understand what's going on in our local areas, but really try and manage your consumption of the news right now, and even social media, and bring awareness to how it's making you feel, and know when to disengage as well. And that could be when you do go out for your walk in nature, if you're able to, or read a nice book, or listen to some music, because we're all home a lot more. So I started listening to a lot more music actually, and new music, since I've been at home more. So just be aware of what you're consuming, and be aware that our thoughts can be a source of suffering for us. So they could be catastrophizing about the future. So thoughts are often untrue. And a Harvard study found, so 47% of the time we're lost in thought, but 75% of those thoughts don't make us happy, a Harvard study found. So this is where practicing a daily meditation can really help to bring us into the moment where we are, and to stop us from overstressing about things. So really just taking some time each day, whether it's 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at the end of the day, where we can just kind of tune into the breath, tune into the body, and bring ourselves out of the mind. And I think these grounding meditations, so like this spring meditation, or going and putting your hand on a tree, or even just visualizing roots growing from the feet, just trying to ground ourselves rather than being up in the head all day, I think can be very beneficial at this time for us. And yeah, let's see, I'm just going to read some of the comments. So Raquel has shared that since this happened, so the virus, I felt a little bit blocked. Yeah, absolutely. And Pepper, I have enjoyed this meditation and the feeling of connecting with nature. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. So again, just as much as you can, bringing nature, bringing spring into your days, appreciating those things. And also, from a psychological perspective, our brain it has a negativity bias, and we evolved to have a negativity bias. This is how we've survived and evolved, and why we're still here. But it takes 5 positive thoughts to outweigh 1 negative. Okay, so the mind will really cling on to negative thoughts. So there's things that we can do, like taking in the good. What can we appreciate in this moment? And it could be simple things like a nice cup of tea, okay, the flowers that you have on your kitchen table, or the sun shining. So let's try and really appreciate the small things that is there in the moment for us to appreciate. A blue sky, a friend calling, and just really at this time try and connect with others. And obviously it's not so easy to meet in person, but we've got so many tools and technologies at our disposal now. So try and stay connected, and try and bring focus to the positives as much as possible, and be aware of thoughts, knowing that when your mind does start to run away, the key is the awareness of the thought and the mind wandering and the mind spinning, and knowing that we don't have to engage in those thoughts. We can bring ourselves back, focus on the breath, focus on the body, and anchor the birds singing. These things can all bring us back to the moment. And yeah, so Raquel saying thank you so much for your tips. You're welcome, Raquel, it's my pleasure. And Renee, very comforting your thoughts. Thanks for sharing. So you're more than welcome.